Today we're talking about V Rising, a game where you're a vampire trying to reclaim your dominance in the world through exploring, collecting resources, building your castle, and taking on different bosses to consume their blood in exchange for new powers. It's like if Ark Survival and Diablo had a baby and then it got bit by a vampire, and then add a medieval Gothic theme to it, and there you have it, V Rising. Needless to say, it's not only addictive, but also pleasant to look at. I've been finding it very easy to sink hours into this game. It's very strategically paced that I haven't gotten bored. So this is going to be a busy dad review, as in, would you play this game if you were a busy dad that only gets a couple hours a week to play a video game? Full disclaimer, I am a dad myself, and I find it difficult to escape to the office/game room and play said video game for a certain period of time. So yes, I have only put about 10 to 15 hours into this game, but the whole point of this review is to determine if it's even worth your time. As busy dads, we have to stick together. And yes, we still like to play video games. We all have our hobbies. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's start with character customization. It's fleshed out enough that it doesn't really leave me wanting more, at least in the aspect of options for a game like this. I do think when you're playing a game like this that is isometric, the gameplay is more important than the character customization options. It's definitely not the highlight. So nonetheless, it works, and I think there is enough to keep most people content. Also, don't worry if you create a character and then you end up not liking it an hour later. There is a placeable item in-game that you can put in your castle that allows you to completely change the way your character looks on the fly as many times you like for free. So as I mentioned earlier, part of the object of the game is to collect resources, build up your castle, become a stronger vampire, and claim your rightful place as Vampire Lord. Between building your castle, upgrading your character, and exploring the map, the main objective is to hunt these bosses that have this V-blood that you then harvest from them. If you're playing multiplayer, then you would be doing all of this as well as defending your own or conquering other castles. The rate of progression is satisfying. This is something that I think they really outdid themselves on because it's not a grindy experience by any means. It seems like they have created this delicate balance of pushing you towards the next objective and giving you enough of a reward to keep you playing. I didn't feel like I was grinding at all, aside from maybe harvesting some rocks or some wood. If we're talking strictly about progression, as in character progression, I would say between crafting gear and unlocking new spells and harvesting the blood from bosses, it's probably one of the most perfectly balanced rates of progression I've seen in a game. And if I'm being honest, the progression path is huge. It's a very long runway to travel, so to speak, especially if we're just looking at all the bosses in the game. This game also makes sure you don't really get lost in what to do next. It does offer you quests to follow in order to unlock new things for your castle and character. At the same time, it doesn't hold your hand so tightly that you feel like you have to follow the quest. There's a ton of different resources in this game, and I can't be 100% sure, but I do believe that nothing is considered junk, which is a huge relief, right? It's definitely a quality of life perk in my mind. It's nice to see games start to eliminate junk items and start making them useful. Even if you are getting a lot of the same item that you may think is useless, well, I'd wait and see. Down the road in your castle progression, you will probably be able to use or refine that said item in some way. The inventory management isn't terrible, especially after you unlock designated boxes for certain materials and items, and using the quick transfer key saves a lot of time. The combat is definitely action combat, and yes, it may look similar to games like Diablo 4 and Last Epoch, but it has its own style. It just feels different. But different in a good way, of course. It's very smooth, but snappy. I often found myself feeling like a vampire ninja, so to speak, just due to the amount of movement you have. It's very satisfying. If you're one of those people that get tunnel vision while in combat, be warned. For some reason, this game got me. A few times I was in a fight and forgot to check my health pool because I had 6-7 mobs on me, and well, I was focused on the fight a little too well. With that being said, something to keep in mind is the amount of blood that you have in your blood pool. It's used for strength or stamina and healing yourself, as well as the type of blood you have dictates the strength and resistances you have. Typically, the bigger the enemy that you draw from, the higher percentage of blood you're able to harvest. So as far as upgrading your character, you can upgrade your gear, skills, or spells, and you can even go one step further and use gems on said spells. With all the different skills you have to unlock, it really lets you customize your character like a true RPG. You can use blood, chaos, frost, unholy, illusion, and storm magic as a vampire. Each tree has skills that correspond with its name, as well as each tree giving you a nice little variety of different spells ranging from damage to utility. The skills are hot swappable. You can use any combination of them in combat. What's also cool is as you travel along the boss progression path, you can morph into different things, different animals. The very first thing that you unlock is the ability to morph into a wolf, which is cool because bears and wolves don't attack you when you are in wolf form. Also, with the wolf form, you're able to run faster, which is a huge perk. I won't spoil it for you because there is many other forms out there that you can unlock as you progress through the boss tree. On top of that, you can find gems out in the world as well as craft gems to increase or change spells, making them more powerful. I often found myself switching skills quite often depending on the situation and what I needed. Also, you can reset all your skills as well if you like. There is a table you can place in your castle, just like the character customization. Something this game does different is it has very limited fast travel, at least at first, which encourages you to be strategic in what you're carrying and what activities you are partaking in, because being out at night is a lot safer than being out in the daytime. More on that later. As you explore the map, you will find these portals that make it easier for you to travel between spots on the map. Although there are certain items that are restricted for travel, planning your route and choosing what you carry is definitely something that was always in the back of my mind. Part of the game is to build your own castle, which is just cool because being a vampire, for one, is cool, but having your own vampire style castle is one step above. You can build a castle almost anywhere on the map. You can really use your imagination and create whatever look you want. There is a decent amount of customization options when choosing what you want it to look like, but the layout of the castle is what I would say is the most open for creativity. Between putting down production buildings and crafting tables, as well as chests to store loot, and even servant coffins where you can convert humans into loyal servants, you can create some very interesting castle layouts. There is a nice little section of more decorative items such as rugs, tables, gargoyles, and statues to place around your castle as well. You can move said castle, and you can have more than one castle. The castles are a huge component to multiplayer, as you can raid other players' castles and gain access to them as well, and share castles with your friends. It's just like Ark Survival. Now, I haven't dabbled much in the multiplayer. I've mainly been playing single player, but I can't imagine how fun it would be to go raid another vampire's castle. This is definitely where the Ark Survival element shines through. So yes, in this game, you are a vampire. As well as we all know, vampires are very susceptible to sunlight, among other things like silver and wooden stakes. What makes this game fun, though, is the natural day and night cycle, and how you'll probably want to spend the majority of your time exploring in the world during the night. Just due to the fact that when you're not in the shade, the sun will kill you very quickly. There are different things you can do to increase your resistance towards the sun, but I found it easier just to hunt at night. I actually really enjoy this mechanic, and it makes you feel like a true vampire. Not only do you have to live and work at night, but having something that you have absolutely no control over in a game is kind of fun and poses a unique challenge to work around. I do have a few last-minute tips to just throw out there. Don't forget to destroy boxes and crates. It took me a while to realize this, but it's like a lot of other games. There is stuff hidden inside, whether it be materials or sometimes even books, aka recipes, that you can research at your research table and unlock new items to craft. Another tip I would add is try this game single player before you jump in multiplayer. I mean, if you have some buddies to play with or something like that, then that's fine. But learn the game a little bit before you jump into multiplayer. It's kind of more forgiving. Needless to say, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I had a lot of fun making this video. So I'll probably be making more videos on V-Rising in the future. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.